Being an entrepreneur is all about taking risks, but if you were down to your last dollars, would you bet it all in Vegas at a chance to win to keep your company going? Well, that is exactly what the founder of FedEx did. He recently passed away, but his story has resurfaced, and it's pretty cool because back in the 70s, he was out of cash. He had some crucial fuel bills to pay, and he took his last $5,000. This is in the 70s, so if we adjust that for inflation, that was quite a bit of money. He took the last $5,000, gambled in Vegas, made over $20,000, and allowed him to stretch the company so he could ultimately go on and get funding. Let's talk about maybe some risks that we have taken in our businesses to get us to where we are today, because this to me is a fascinating subject.
We did the same exact thing back in 2003. We took $5,000 and put it on red. I'm just kidding.
I was like, tell me
that's
the story.
pretty risky.
I know.
That's really risky. I mean, was he down on his luck and he just said F it and he went to Vegas?
Yeah, he had no investor support left. He took that $5,000.
So he won $27,000 playing blackjack, huh?
I can see you doing this, Jay.
And then he used it.
Nice.
He used it for
Fuel
charges for FedEx, huh?
Uh-huh.
Wow, amazing.
Kept the company going.
What a cool story.
It is a cool story, but I started inherently thinking about we have these stories. Let's talk about some of them.
But you probably shouldn't do this.
I was gonna say, so like,
like
to
it's
me,
a cool story, but there's probably
odds are
30 other people that did the same thing.
30?
And they lost
3,000.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot.
3,000 to 1 odds, and
Yes.
that's a daunting one. Before I go into something that possibly sharing, I think that I love the fact that he was so dedicated to it that he actually took his winnings and didn't just say, hey, heck with it, right? He poured back in. I think that one of my favorite things about being an entrepreneur, right, is it's not always the best person, it's the last person standing, right? Like being able to fight through and understanding what that is. And I mean, yes, you have to have a unique value proposition and solve a problem in the marketplace. But if you are great at those things and then great at execution, I mean, we all know that ideas are bleep, and execution is everything. So kudos to him, and what a really cool story. Because let's be honest, FedEx is one of those things that, the world would be somewhat the same without it, but FedEx has had a footprint on planet Earth.
Absolutely.
It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think we've had to do some pretty hard things. I mean, building a software is very expensive, and I mean, if you go out and start to build a software, you don't make the money until after it's done, and then you have to sell it. So it took us a year to create it, and
well,
so we were just spending money
Yeah.
to build it. Weren't making anything on it.
Not only that, but we went close to 3 years without taking a single paycheck.
Yeah. And most people don't realize that
crazy.
That's
Not only that,
that's-
like not even
that's reality.
And it wasn't even we weren't taking a paycheck; we were putting money in.
Yeah, that is the part that people miss, is especially that we were pouring heavy money in the first year, and still pretty heavy money the second year. And I mean, obviously, we saw the needle constantly moving, which is a beautiful thing. But I mean, for me, candidly, like, one of the you're talking about risks. I mean, I had a lot of success in real estate, and then I had I owned a lot of properties and flipping, and things didn't go my way, and I lost an absolute lot of money, caused a lot of strife and conflict in my life, and I still believed in the vision of what we were doing, right? And where I think that little molehill turned into a mountain, to where you saw it and you saw a better way. And I learned from those mistakes, and I implemented, and I made sure that the money that I lost wasn't lost money. It was investing in my future.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you learn just exactly what you said. You learned. Every failure isn't a failure. It's actually something good.
Yeah,
you learn something.
As long as you apply it,
you definitely learn something.
Do you think that what I see and what I've seen, especially in the real estate realm, right? Because that's obviously where we have the most exposure, is that people are unwilling to pay their dues. They're unwilling to do the thing over and over and over again for a disproportionate amount of time. And in order, and they want the success now. It's like they want it Amazon. If I order in the next 5 minutes, I get it by tomorrow at 10 a.m. And it doesn't work that way. And so I think that success rewards those who are willing to do the boring, the mundane over and over and over again for that disproportionate amount of time. And not many people are willing to do it. And so if you are listening and you are an entrepreneur and it is a season for you where it hasn't hit yet, like Elliot mentioned, stay attached to the vision. I love what you said at the beginning, Elliot, that it's about being the last one.
Yep.
Right? It's like not about
it's not about being the best. It's not who's the best, who can last the longest.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that might be a Hormozy quote. On one of my own favorite quotes that I've kind of come up with on my own is time on task over the task. I think that that's like one of the most important things is how you master it. Like, again, as you guys certainly know, but maybe not all of you guys know, I have a heavy sports background. And now that I'm 45, I have the luxury of coaching some young kids. And they all want to be great, and they'll work hard for a month or a week, or even sometimes like 2 weeks, right? And the results don't come at the level, like the strikeouts will still be there. They're not, I'm talking about whatever your sport is, they're not getting the results that they want to. And it's like, you have to stay attached to the process. Anybody who's played sports at a very high level knows that it is crazy how long it takes. And then from there, even when you become good, how fast you can go back to a bad habit. And so it's just really being attached to the journey, right? I think that it's a duration of time, and you have to be committed. If you truly want to be great or an expert, a true entrepreneur, right? Not somebody that does a little this, does a little that. I'm talking about makes it in a space. It is a serious dedication.
Yes. A saying that Jason and I would say a lot was attached to the process and detached from the outcome, because it truly all is about the process. And then you mentioned the word commit. It's like, once you commit, the actual word commit means to cut off from any other outcome. Like, you are going all in on this. Like,
burn the boats.
Yes, burn the boats.
Burn
like
the boats, baby.
No other solution. Jay, I know you've got something else to add here.
Yeah, I agree. I've seen, raising two young kids. It's man, everything is now, and it's part of it's just part of our the community right now, in the culture of Amazon now and everything. Before you wanted to watch a TV show, you had to wait a week to see the next episode, right?
So right, something
like now
so simple.
you sit there and you can watch hours and hours and hours of the same show, like the whole season. And,
isn't it funny though how like Apple TV is going back to that?
They are going back to that.
They're
yes.
dropping every week.
Yeah, but everything in the mind is just shifted for this new generation, and it's sad because a lot of entrepreneurship is like waiting and doing the same
100%.
thing over and 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 over again, and there's not a guarantee.
Yeah.
So is there like one risk that you can think of specifically that you took? I can think of one.
Go for it. You do it.
That specifically in your journey. Okay, so it was 2000 and oh my goodness, it was like 2006. The market was shifting. Things were going to short sales. Things were going REO. We had just built this really beautiful office building. We had just built a at this point in time, it'd be multi-million-dollar home, house on the hill, city light views. It's gorgeous, and no revenue. Like the market just went to a halt, and we were literally down to about less than $10,000. And Jason had this idea. He knew somebody that was in REO, and he said the Super Bowl was in Arizona, and he said, "I'm going to take this guy to the Super Bowl, and I'm going to spend our last bit of money."
$10,000.
How much were the tickets?
They're like 5,000 piece.
So
because they were like right on the 30-yard line, like row 6.
And this was ages
and I knew
ago.
this guy, he would not turn it down. And I was like, I mean, who would turn it down? Like, hey, you want to go to the Super Bowl with me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Genius.
in, kind of like in hopes that he would make some intros for us, Jason took him to the Super Bowl, spent our last money, and it paid off. He actually did refer us to an account, and
boom, we got a big account and started getting REO properties left and right, and then we're able to use that to get into other accounts, and it was I remember that.
Yeah, that was definitely risky. And
when you let me do it, because when I came to you, like,
he came to me with this
I
idea.
know
And
I
I was
only have
like,
like this $10,000 left.
and it worked.
Can I go to the Super Bowl on it?
And milk money.
and just to be clear, I did not get to go.
No, because that would have cost more. We didn't have it.
No. Yep.
Very cool. That's
Yep.
instant gratification, and
Risk reward, baby.
well, and you
Reward.
bet on yourself, right? I mean, to me, that's the beautiful thing. I think the one thing that you can't what is the pure bet? And if you believe in yourself, you're always a pure bet.
Yeah, and that $10,000 turned into millions.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a good idea. How about you? Got anything? Want to finish this off?
Again, I mean, something specific like a store like that, I don't have anything jumping out to me in my mind other than just literally like we've talked about, committing to the process, and literally just put in the work. And it's hard sometimes, especially when you get the resistance, the no's after the no's after the no's come. The one thing I guess I'll pass on in a piece of advice, because we are in a market right now that's a little bit slower. You're probably making more phone calls, more contacts, sending more mailers, posting more, running more ads. The business is more expensive to run to get the leads. The reality of it is if you're not paying attention and figuring out how you can get sharper and how you can communicate more effective, that to me is where you need to pay attention, right? So I will say that yes, you have to stay committed to the process, but sometimes staying committed to that process is, how do I get better? How do I refine? How do I make it smoother, more simple, and like almost like we're doing with the software game, right? We're not done. I mean, it's not arrived. It doesn't walk on water, right? It's a process, and committing to how do we make this machine better.
What do you think? Did you take any risk that has absolutely paid off for you in your business? Drop it in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. And thanks for tuning in.